Hello everyone, Jeff here with you for episode number 34 of the Wednesday Night Wrestling Blitz here on YouTube. This is a GMTE Express add-on exclusive, as once again we have NXT and AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite going head-to-head. We'll begin it with NXT. It took place from Full Sail University in Winter Park, Florida. This was taped earlier in the day on Wednesday. Maura Ranallo and Beth Phoenix were calling the action from their homes respectively, and Tom Phillips was there in the arena. It opened up with the Undisputed Era talking about Adam Cole's win at TakeOver in Your House in his dominant NXT Championship run. Then he went on to say that he promised Dexter Loomis to, quote, send him back to the drawing board later on in the program. Roderick Strong kept thinking he saw Loomis at ringside, and then backstage a little bit later we saw Undisputed Era run into Keith Lee and Mia Yim, who were getting ready for their opening match here, with Keith Lee suggesting that he might be coming for the NXT Championship, so they could be planting the seeds for something. We'll wait and see. The opening match on the night was a rematch from last week. We had Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae teaming up to take on North American Champion Keith Lee and Mia Yim here in mixed tag team action here. Even though it's men versus the men, women versus the women. The match is fine. Nothing wrong with it. I thought it was pretty good. Each person got a chance to shine throughout the match. We just get towards the end of the match here. Keith Lee got nailed with the one final beat DDT from Gargano, but he landed on Candice LeRae, who sold it like death. And the referee and Keith Lee were checking on her because she was selling pretty well and not moving, really doing anything else. Johnny Gargano snuck up from behind and rolled him up and got the win. So the heels get the win here. The match was fine. I thought the finish here was lazy. I think they could have done something better than this. But, you know, I don't have a problem with Gargano and LeRae winning, but I thought the match was fine, but I thought the finish was just kind of lazy. Could have done something better. But once again, Keith Lee was made to look like a fool here, and he got surprised once again by Johnny Gargano in this spot. So we had that. Cameron Grimes was interviewed next about his match against Finn Balor. That's going to be happening later on. And he says he'd like to win, but unlike Damian Priest at TakeOver, Damian Priest did come in to confront him and then forearmed him in the face about it. And Grimes used this as an opportunity to say he had a broken jaw and wouldn't be able to compete. But William Regal caught Cameron Grimes in a lie because William Regal video conferenced in, and he's going to have that match with Finn Balor coming up here soon. Next, we had Indus Sher in tag team action taking on some jobbers here. They won pretty handily. After that, Finn Balor and Cameron Grimes had that match. This was a very good match. Good storytelling here from both guys. The action was back and forth. Very good match. You should go out and check it out. Finn Balor ultimately won in the end. He hit the coup de grace, and then he hit the 1916 DDT for the win. After the match, Finn Balor cut a promo speaking into the camera, and he says he wants Keith Lee's North American Championship. So, even though Finn Balor has mostly been a babyface here as of late once again, he wants Keith Lee's title. We'll see where that goes from there. We had a pre-recorded interview and conversation here with Breezango. Of course, it's Tyler Breeze and Fandango here. They're talking about how much they like to make people laugh with all their fashion police stuff that they've been doing. But they say they are going to be getting serious and going after those NXT tag team titles in next week's program. And they say they're going to try to win it. And actually, they say they are going to win it from Imperium on next week's NXT show. So we'll see where that goes. Some pretty good stuff here, I thought, from Breezango. There's two great guys, very talented individuals. And we'll see if they win the tag team titles. We saw footage of Tommaso Ciampa leaving TakeOver in Your House after losing his match to Karrion Kross. We see Robert Strong then backstage try to get Rhea Ripley to join the Robert Stone brand because Robert Stone, of course, got dumped by Chelsea Green. And he's looking all disheveled and all that. The former Robbie E here, not looking too good, being treated like a joke now, as I kind of figured he would. Ultimately, she punched him in the stomach, then slammed him into garbage. So that's pretty much all you need to know about Robbie E. Robert Stone. So we have that. Women's action was up next here. We had Dakota Kai taking on Casey Cantazzaro here. This match, it was fine. Dakota Kai wound up winning in the end with the GTK, and then afterwards, Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez did a beatdown spot here on Cantazzaro. Kaden Carr tried to make the save, but she got beaten down as well, so the heels looked pretty strong here. But once again, I'm going to say for the fact that Dakota Kai, I think, is fine on her own. She does not need Raquel Gonzalez in her corner. She doesn't need the muscle. And, you know, ultimately at some point, we know Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez are going to have a falling out. It's going to happen at some point. It's just who's going to turn on who first. I have to believe at some point they're going to make Dakota Kai be a babyface again, but we'll wait and see what happens down the line. We got a promo here from Timothy Thatcher next, basically telling people that he will teach people who who to wrestle his style, quote-unquote, on next week's program, so we have that. Then next up we see El Hijo del Fantasma, of course the former King Cuerno of Lucha Underground. He came out to the ring here, was going to talk about winning the interim NXT Cruiserweight title here. He's interrupted by Drake Maverick. Maverick goes on to congratulate Fantasma and told him that he thinks he can beat him. Then we see these two guys wear the masks, these kidnappers, these lucha kidnappers, I guess, the poor man's version of the Dark Order. They came to the ring here, and you figured, Maverick's trying to make the save here, but ultimately, Fantasma, to the shock of absolutely no one, turns on Maverick. He winds up beating him down. Then we see the kidnappers also do an attack here on Maverick. Fantasma then unmasked, and he renamed himself Santos Escobar, so that's going to be his new name here. This was an absolute shock, said no one ever. I mean, it was obviously pretty clear from day one that everyone here was working together here. I don't know why anybody would have been surprised by this. I mean, they made it pretty obvious here, and anyone with any ounce of brain knew this was the angle and the situation they were going to go with here. So now they're giving Fantasma, or I should say Santos Escobar, that's his new name, they're giving him some muscle here. So we'll see where it goes from here. We'll see if they can do anything special. Your main event for the night here was NXT champion Adam Cole taking on Dexter Loomis here in non-title action. The match is fine, it's good, they gave it plenty of time. Each guy gets a chance to shine during the match. The Undisputed Era interfere late in the match. Dexter Loomis looks like he has the match won. They interfere, it allows Adam Cole to make the comeback and win with the last shot to get to what I felt was a surprising win, even though it came with interference here. Dexter Loomis is defeated here. After the match, the Undisputed Era attacked Dexter Loomis, and then Velveteen Dream came out to make the save. So they're able to clear house. And then we see Scarlett Bordeaux show up as well. She comes out with this hourglass and turns it over to send a message to Adam Cole. So it looks like they could be setting up something with Karrion Kross and Adam Cole for that title at some point down the line. So looks like that's what we had there. So that was NXT that took place from Full Sail University in Winter Park, Florida. Let's get on to AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite. This was a live episode this week from Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, and Excalibur were on the call here. Chris Jericho did come out with his baseball bat Floyd to join commentary at the top of the show, so Jericho was here pretty much for the first hour of the program. Tag team competition opened up the show here. We had FTR, the former Revival WWE. They're making their AEW wrestling debut here on the show here. They're taking on the Butcher and the Blade here. The Bunny is not with them. We'll talk about Bunny here shortly. They have the match. It's a good match. These teams told a pretty good story. Ultimately, FTR does win. Cash Wheeler wins for his team after he pinned the Blade after a variation of a spike power driver. So FTR gets the win here. They're in the ring here. They're being interviewed by Tony Schiavone afterwards. And then they talk about AEW being the pinnacle of tag team wrestling. We see the Young Bucks come out. The Young Bucks said they haven't properly been introduced to one another. Then they said they'd been single-handedly carrying tag team wrestling for a decade and a half, which, for the most part, you can't really argue. I think that's true. The Butcher does make the comeback. He attacks the Bucks, and then Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page, Kip Sabian, and Jimmy Havoc all come out here. We get a brawl here, and the faces pretty much stand tall in the end. So it looks like they could be setting up some matches going forward here with all these guys involved. Dasha Gonzalez was interviewing the Natural Nightmares backstage. Justin Roberts was back, by the way, doing ring announcing, so it was good to hear him back on the show after being away for a while. So we get the Natural Nightmares. Brandy Rhodes is back there, and Ali, speaking of which, Ali, of course, the former Bunny. So Brandy was annoyed that Ali was wearing the Nightmares family jacket. QT Marshall, of course, says he gave it to her because she's part of the family now and that she's his girl. I still think that Ali's going to turn on him. It's just a matter of time. Dustin basically gets into QT's head saying that he needs to be in the game for next week because they have a shot at the AEW Tag Team titles against Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page. So that should be a good match on next week's program. We'll see where that goes. Speaking of tag team action, that's our next match here. We had women's tag team action here. We had Nyla Rose and Penelope Ford. Of course, Kip Sabian was out with Penelope Ford. They took on Akira Shida and Chris Statlander here. Some match I thought was okay. It was a little choppy, but I didn't think it was that bad. The heels wind up winning in the end. Penelope Ford hit Shida in the face with her own championship belt behind the referee's back late in the match, and then she ultimately pinned her with the a variation, I guess, of the Perfect Plex. It's the bridge the Bridge Fisherman suplex and actually pinned her to get the win for the heels here. So they pinned the AEW Women's Champion here in tag team competition. Even though it was by cheating, the heels get the win here in this spot. So we had that. We see Darby Allin in a promo, not backstage, but in a promo package. He's practicing how he could skate off a ladder without falling, and we see Tony Hawk actually appear. Yes, that Tony Hawk, the legendary skateboard guy himself. He appears in the video as well, and they're practicing this. So Darby Allin, he's a daredevil, but he's very good at what he does. So I wouldn't put it past him. He's very good. We had a montage for Britt Baker here. She's in her wheelchair. Of course, she's the role model. That's ROLL model, because she's in the wheelchair. She's, continuing her recovery here, her vigorous recovery, and she talks about how tired she is of Big Swole's attitude. So it looks like they could be setting up something with Rebel and Big Swole again. We'll see where that goes. We had more tag team competition here, and this was 6-man tag team action. We had the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. They're all teaming up to take on Proud and Powerful. That's Santana and Ortiz and Jake Hager here in 6-man action. They have the match. It's fine. The Babyfaces actually wound up winning. Orange Cassidy gets the win for the Babyfaces. He pinned Ortiz to get the win here after he trapped him and got the win. Afterwards, Chris Jericho, who was on commentary, he got into the ring with his bat and he went after Orange Cassidy and he nailed him in the head with it. He was busted open there, whether it was real blood or fake blood. And then the funny part here, and this was the ironic part, Chris Jericho actually nails Orange Cassidy with, get this folks, a bag full of bloody oranges. Yes, Chris Jericho attacked Orange Cassidy with oranges. That's quite ironic, to say the least. I'm very surprised that actually hasn't happened before this, but yeah, they left Orange Cassidy laying here, and the heels being the inner circle looked very strong here. We see MJF being interviewed at ringside here. We see Billy Gunn there as well, and the Gunn sons. MJF and Billy Gunn had some words there. Warlord was out there as well. Looks like they could be setting up something. Perhaps, actually, I believe they are going to be setting up something. We have, I believe it is Billy taking on MJF or Warlord. It's one of those on next week's program. We'll talk about that here shortly. Sammy Guevara and Colt Cabana had a match here. This one was a coin flip. I actually honestly didn't know who was going to win this because both guys haven't really been looking strong. But surprisingly, Sammy Guevara actually got the win here. He actually got a rare win here. He's been doing a lot of losing, but he actually got a win here over Colt Cabana. He hit the GTH on Colt Cabana and got the win with it. Afterwards, the Dark Order, including Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, who made their return after being away for a while, entered. Brody offered a hand to Cabana and helped him up. Then they all left, and Cabana looked a bit confused, and then he left, and he actually went in the same direction with the Dark Order. So we'll see where that goes. Sammy Guevara then gets on the mic. He cuts a promo declaring himself the best wrestler in AEW. That made me laugh out loud when I heard him say that. Matt Hardy came out and told Sammy that he should get away from Chris Jericho so he can live up to the potential. So he's putting him over here a bit. Sammy said that he never trusts Matt Hardy, who tried to kill him twice. Of course, talking about the golf cart stuff recently. Then Matt Hardy eventually turned into Demarcus and then threatened to delete Guevara, who just ran away. So looks like they could be having a match, those two coming down the line. We see Joey Janela in this skit next. He's seen drinking in the bar. He's doing a voiceover about how directionless he feels. He left the bar and then happened to run into Sonny Kiss, of course, who gave him a ride in his convertible. So I wonder what could be going on there. We'll have to wait and see. Then we see Colt Cabana enter Brody Lee's office backstage. So I wonder what could be going on there. Could Colt Cabana be the next member of the Dark Order? I think it's intriguing. Colt Cabana hasn't really done a whole lot since being in AEW. I don't think it would hurt Colt Cabana being in the Dark Order here, but I don't know. We'll see where it goes. It's intriguing, to say the least. We'll see. In the parking lot, we see Jon Moxley being interviewed by Alex Marvez. He says he's in a bad mood just because his whole body hurts, but also Taz keeps saying that Brian Cage is going to beat him at Fyter Fest. Moxley can't wait for Fyter Fest so he can shut everyone up about it, and by also beating Brian Cage. Taz does show up. He gets in Moxley's face. That's enough of a distraction because Cage ran up from behind and attacked him. They brawled for a while. Ultimately, Moxley was left laying after being put on and slammed through the hood of the car into the windshield, and he was left laying here. So that's what we had here. So Brian Cage looked pretty strong in this segment here. Your main event for the night here was for the TNT Championship. We had Cody Rhodes, of course, Arn Anderson, the coach, is out there with him. He's taking on Marquis Queen here. Good match. The story was Cody Rhodes working on Marquis Queen's injured knee and injured leg here. He does that for most of the match. Queen does get a bit of offense, but ultimately Cody Rhodes taps him out to the ankle lock that he maintained with his legs. So Cody retained the TNT Championship in a decent match. It was fine. Cody retaining was not a surprise. After the match, Jake Hager showed up again. He attacked Arn Anderson and Cody. Private Party did come out with Matt Hardy, and they went after Hager with chairs. Then Sammy Guevara, Santana, and Ortiz all came out, and we got a full-on brawl here. Cody grabbed the mic afterwards and told Jake Hager that he will have a TNT Championship match with him at Fyter Fest. So that's what we had here. So that was it. That was AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite that took place from Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. Let's get on to the ratings for this show. This week, once again, AEW Dynamite did beat NXT in the viewership and in ratings. But once again, for really the second week in a row, it was very close. Dynamite won it this week with 677,000 viewers, and NXT had 673,000 viewers, so it was a 4,000 viewer win, which equates to a 0.6% win for AEW. Very close this week. AEW came in 14th for the night in the Cable 150 and 18-49 demo, while NXT came in 35th. AEW came in 64th in viewership, while NXT came in 65th. Last week, Dynamite did 730,000 viewers and came in 27th in the demo and 71st in viewership. NXT came in last week with 715,000 viewers, 45th in the demo and 72nd in viewership. This week, AEW did a 0.23 rating in 18-49 demo, and NXT did a 0.16 in the demo. Both those numbers are down from last week. AEW did a 0.29 last week, so they're down 0.06 of a point, while NXT did a 0.20 last week. They're down 0.04 of a point. This is the second lowest AEW viewership of the year and their third lowest in their history. The 0.23 rating that they did here this week is tied for the May 13th episode for their lowest ever in the 18-49 demo. With AEW picking up the narrow win this week in the viewership battle, they now have 30 wins, NXT has 5, and we have the 1 tie. MTV's Challenge topped the night in the 18-49 demo on the Cable 150 with a 0.51 rating, and they did 878,000 viewers. Sean Hannity's show on Fox News Channel topped the night in viewership with just more than 4 million viewers, and they came in number 3 for the night in the Cable 150 in the key demo with a 0.32 rating. Chicago Fire on NBC topped the night on network television viewership with 4.128 million viewers. Big Hero 6, Game On, Chicago Med, Chicago Fire, Chicago, and Ultimate Tag tied for the night in the demo with a 0.5 rating on network television. My pick of the week this week, it was very close again. Both shows were good. I didn't think they were blowaway shows again. I give the slight edge this week to AEW. I thought they were just a little bit better with a little bit more action here. NXT wasn't terrible this week. I thought AEW just was a little bit better here this week, so they're my pick of the week. So through 34 picks, I have NXT with 19 and AEW with 15 picks. Let me know down in the comment section below what your favorite moment from Wednesday's wrestling action is, and we'll see you the next time with the next Wednesday Night Wrestling Blitz here on YouTube. Bye for now, everyone.